Okay, I've been working on this painting, and you can see that it started out being this still life. I did a smaller version, a quick version, and I decided after I got into this ways that there was enough here that I really wanted to make it into a large project. So I am adding things. I'm going to add a wicker basket that it's all sitting on, and I'm probably going to do some other stuff at the top. So I've blocked in this wicker basket. Now I need to go in and make it as concrete as I can. I've got a little bit heavier pencil that I hope you can see. What I'm drawing here. One reason I'm doing this is because I haven't had time to do anything for myself. I've only been working on boy, that's hard to determine what that is. I've only been working on things for class, and I really need to do something because I have projects coming up and shows coming up, so I need to do something for me. Productivity is one of those things that's really important. If I was to tell you all the things that surprised me when I began to paint all the time, I think productivity would be one of those things that I found surprising. And by that I mean how important it was to be prepared when shows come along, because I found myself several times wanting to enter a show and I didn't have anything to put in because everything was out. This year I had 2 one-man shows at the same time. So I had like 28 pieces out at Powell Gardens. I had another 9 at the El Torreon. I had 4 or 5 more, you know, in groups of 1 or 2 in other shows. And I think at one point I had 43, maybe 45 paintings out, and there wasn't anything left. There wasn't anything left that I cared about. Nothing left that I really was proud of. I had a lot of old stuff that, you know, I call it retired. I've taken them out of the frames, I've put them in a box, and I'm just not showing those anymore. So that's one aspect of productivity. The other thing that's really important is that when collectors come along, what do they want? They want your best work. And by collectors, I mean there's multiple kinds of collectors. There's a collector who buys your work because of your name. They're not going to buy mine because I don't have a name. I don't have a big reputation. But then there's another collector. Maybe he's just starting out. He likes art, he studies art, he knows good from bad, and they will eat up my best stuff. Every time I show something that I think is really good, boom, it sells. Which is fine. I mean, that's why it's there. It's there to I put it out in the world for someone to buy. But I also put it out there for ribbons and award money and so on. So every time one of my best pieces gets bought, well, it cannot any longer go to a different show. So that's one aspect of productivity that I didn't even think about when I started all this. Because it takes, let's say, the kind of paintings I'm talking about, maybe I do 2 a year. You know, it's like the best of the best. Maybe I knock one out every 6 months that I'm just super proud of. So it could take me a while to replace that kind of a piece. In general, I want my average painting to go up, and that's what I've been working for, is to have this year's sort of average painting be better than last year's, and next year's should be better than this year's, and so on. But sometimes you just hit a home run. Sometimes you just paint over your head and you can't figure out why. So that's why it's super important to just keep on painting and try and, you know, to do those great paintings. And the only way you make those great paintings is just a lot of work. Just keep it going. So I've stopped for a moment. I will put this on YouTube so people can see it. If there's anything to learn from it, great. But this one is more or less for me. Okay. So now, doing this wicker is going to be difficult. And I just have to do it as cleanly as I can. My attitude is do it as cleanly as you possibly can, and then if some of that gets lost in the painting process, that's fine. It's fine. You had a good starting point. That's what I want. I want accuracy to begin with, and then if my starting point changes, or I mean if my painting comes along and changes things, that's all right. For instance, I may have a kind of water spotting or something that changes the way this looks. That's all right. That's alright, because the painting will do what it's going to do. I even tell people that the painting will tell you what to do. And I kind of believe that. Now, if you're a person that takes what I say absolutely, totally, literally, like I was telling a class that, and it happened to have like an 8-year-old in the class who was visiting with her mom. And she said, she told her mom, I listened to my painting, but I didn't say anything. Yeah. When I say it tells you what to do, what I mean is your intuitive reactions to the marks you make on the paper will make it seem to you as if the painting is talking. It's not physically talking. One thing I'm having to do with this wicker is keep my mind straight about which parts are behind which other parts. So I'm kind of gently blacking out some of this so that I can keep it in my own mind. Because it'd be awful easy to lose track of this. Paint it all in and then at the last minute go, oh, that ain't right. And also I'm smearing the pencil with my hand, which is not helpful. Okay, I'm going to work on this for a while. I'm going to turn the camera off because this will take a while, and all I really wanted to say to you was talk to you about that productivity issue. Alright, turning this off for a while. Alright, so I started creating this wicker table, and I'm not done with it by any means. But as I started to create it, the reason I stopped here was because there's another one of these ties, and I figured that was a good place to stop. But look at this. See this edge here? What that is telling me is this should be a white napkin. That's what I mean when the painting starts telling you what it wants. So here I am. I've painted all of this, and I expect to continue this on around, and I will over here. But as soon as I saw that straight corner, I began to think about a napkin where it was folded over. And then some way it'll end up over here too. Painting tells you what it wants to do. It just does.